Hi there. Welcome to Share Stories. For today's episode, I thought to share why it was that I refer to Asian Canadian diaspora. I realize that diaspora is not really a word that's in our everyday use. It's certainly not part of my regular vernacular, but I thought to share what that means for me. Diaspora is or are people living outside their ancestral homeland. And so I was born in Canada, but both my parents were from the Philippines. And so I do have an affinity for the island nation of the Philippines. I have, I'll say, a tremendous level of pride at being Canadian. I am Canadian through and through, born and raised, lived all of my life in Ontario, and I am very proud to be Canadian. I bleed maple syrup. A FIFA World Cup that just took place. I was over the moon for the Canadian football team. But at the same time, I'm also Filipino. There's no hiding that I am Filipino. And that have tremendous pride for Filipino culture or accomplishments by Filipino people. I mentioned Alexandra Ila the other day in Wimbledon and a high level of tennis competition that she brought. And there was tremendous pride about that. So I'm wanting to explore, share, and learn from others as well as to what their experience has been in terms of living in Canada or some other country that is different from their ancestral homeland. Because, there is a component of that has weaved through the fabric of what I am made of. And so I want to share that I am not just or only Canadian, or I am not just an only Filipino. I am both. I am all these things. And on top of that, I am female. I'm a woman who's worked in corporate Canada, add on top of that the next layer in that I'm a mother as well. So all of these things I am. I am a fall, whole, complex person, as is everybody else. But these are the things that make up our stories. And I'm interested in exploring how it's impacted me, how it's impacted you. And I'm wanting to engage in conversation about it. Growing up, race wasn't really anything that I was aware of. We didn't really talk about it with my friends. I was a big tomboy, played with the boys in class. We'd go out and play baseball or soccer, and it wasn't anything that we really discussed. And I was the only Asian in my class. There was an Asian boy who joined us, I think it was like grade 3 or grade 4, but I was the only one. And not to say that that was good or bad. It was more just, I didn't even realize it. I didn't even think. And then in junior high, I'm trying to think, I don't even recall any other Asians at my junior high school. It was a predominantly Jewish junior high school. After that, for high school, I went to an arts high school and focused more on visual arts. There was, I'll say, a greater level of diversity and representation from a number of different ethnicities. Once I reached high school, there was definitely more Asians within my school and within my classes. But growing up, it wasn't something that I was really exposed to. I don't even, beyond wanting to look like Barbie, I don't think that there was anything that was really sort of in my face that I was non-white. I think it's come about more so as the conversations around diversity, equity, inclusion have evolved. Certainly, there's a level of awareness within Canada with our Indigenous communities and all of the work around reconciliation. I know that there's been great measures and commitments made around reconciliation. I know there's still a lot more work to do, but it's one of those pieces, again, that sort of comes into play when I wonder about myself. One of the things I had asked my husband one day was, do you think I look Indigenous? And I know that that term is maybe not one that a lot of people would associate with a Filipino. For the Philippines, there are indigenous communities and peoples, and they are people who grew up on different parts of different islands, and their languages are different. So Tagalog is sort of the overarching language, but there's also different dialects depending on where you are in the Philippines. I realize it was a bit of a loaded question, a little bit unfair to my husband. Sorry, sweetheart. But, his answer is what sort of made me appreciate him more. He was like, yeah, Absolutely, you do. And because I know from his lens, he's thinking about, do I look like an island person? And I get that. I absolutely understand that. This is what I look like, and I appreciate that. Right. But it was one of those things that really made me go, like, would I ever have defined myself in that way before? Probably not. Would I have even dared to ask that kind of question before? Definitely not, right? So, but as I mature and as I learn more, I'm wanting to explore what that is and how that's contributed to who I am present day. I make no assumptions of knowing everything. I guess maybe the only thing that I'm assuming is that there are other people out there who have a level of affinity to their ancestral homeland, even if they don't live there. And I'm hoping that this connects with them. And at the same time, I think that this topic, this podcast, like it's not just for Asian people, or it's not just for Canadians, or it's not just for women. There are men who are Caucasian who could listen to this and gain tremendous insights into this community or our gender or, what our experience has been like. There are marketers who could gain tremendous insights from this kind of dialogue, right? So I just don't want to think that people can't be part of this or can't listen to this and not get something from it. I think it's helpful. I think it's good to engage. I invite you to listen and tune in, watch, however it is that you're able to connect with this, because there could be insights that you yourself never thought of. Like the way that I said that I'd never thought that I could even be at all perceived as Indigenous until I asked the question, right? And it's one of those that I invite you to come along for this conversation, along for the ride, and see where it goes. Some of our topics might not be necessarily focused only on race, culture, or gender. We may explore other offshoots of it, but that is a space that I want to, I'll say, maintain for us here. If I've shared anything that is of value or resonated with you, I invite you to leave a comment, connect with me in some way. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll share again soon. Thanks so much for listening.
Charlene.